Hey everybody, George Brown here, and welcome to the Sniper Outsourcing Blueprint Part 1. Okay, now in the last video, which was the introduction to the Empire module, I basically talked about how the whole purpose of this module is to teach you the very best way to grow from a relatively small kind of, maybe considered part-time income, earning like $300 a month from one site or something like that, okay, to actually growing that into, a potentially life-changing business for you, okay, just building Google sniper sites, basically exactly what I did and what, dozens of other people have done as well, to literally quit their job and make a full-time income from sniping. Okay, now I touched on the fact that outsourcing was the absolute best way to do it, okay, and in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of give you an introduction to what outsourcing is, why it's very important, and kind of the sniper way of doing things, which might be a little different from what you're used to, okay. So outsourcing, if you didn't know, is essentially the art of paying someone else or outsourcing work you would normally do, okay. It's traditionally meant in a kind of company sense, and that a company, even though it might have, so let's say we're thinking of a big corporation, they've got 100 employees or something like that, if some specific work needs to be done, or it can be done cheaper elsewhere, for example, often the company's outsourced to India, they'll actually outsource the work to someone outside of the company, okay. In this case, for us, all it means though is basically not doing the work yourself and hiring someone else to do it instead for you, okay. So there's obviously a few reasons why outsourcing is so cool, and obviously time is money and things like that, and you'd rather pay someone to do the work yourself, and we're going to look at all those in this video. But pretty much the biggest reason, to sum it up for you, is this is the number one fastest, easiest, and just the downright best way to grow your empire, okay, in just about every way imaginable, and you're going to see exactly why in this video. So think about it, thinking about the maths of it all, okay, and really put yourself in a position. Hopefully you will have built a sniper site by now, okay. So would you rather spend, let's just imagine to build 10 sites, okay, so we're going to build 10 fully fledged sniper sites. We're going to need lots of different keywords, we're going to need different niches, we're going to need lots of articles written, we're going to need pictures uploaded, we're going to need themes picked, WordPress blogs installed, ClickBank products found, YouTube videos made, who knows what, a lot of stuff basically, okay. So we're building 10 of these sites. Now, would you spend 30 hours, and I'm just saying 30 hours, it may have taken you a bit longer to build your first site, but if you kept doing it, you would get it down to about 3 hours. Now, would you rather spend 30 hours of your own time, like I said, it may take you longer, doing, this boring, quite frankly, it is a little bit boring sometimes, tedious work, okay, looking for keywords and stuff like that, or, the way I'm sort of going about in the Empire module is telling you, would you rather spend 3 hours instead of 30 telling someone else to do it, okay? So you're not even doing it yourself, all you got to do is tell someone else to do it, and that if you do it right, as in you tell them what to do, pretty well, basically exactly as in the course, you don't even have to tell them that much because I've already told you what to do, they'll do as good of a job as you would have done because they would have been through, basically the same knowledge that I've just given you. I mean, obviously you won't give them access to Google Sniper, but you kind of explain it to them in a way, in a simple way, okay? And the people you're hiring will already know what they're doing anyway, okay? We're not going to be hiring amateurs who've never heard of internet marketing or anything. I'm going to teach you a way where you only hire people that know exactly what keyword research is, search engine optimization, writing blog posts, installing blogs. They may even have some suggestions for you. I've had guys that have suggested stuff in the past, okay. So we're only going to be hiring professionals. So think about it, would you rather spend 30 hours of your own time or 3 hours telling someone else to do it? It's an obvious answer, right? And of course the best news, and perhaps the biggest news of this, is it's not only less work, obviously 3 hours is 10 times less work, is that you therefore could have built 100 sites instead of 10 in the same amount of time on your part, okay? So if you spent 30 hours telling someone else what to do, in theory, and this is just basic theory, but I've actually found it to be pretty accurate, is you could have built 100 sites instead of 10, Okay, so imagine that in the same amount of time, you don't have 10 sites, but you got 100. They're just as good as your original 10 sites. The only difference is you've built 10 times as many, and you're going to make 10 times as money. This is the absolute number one thing. A lot of people think that outsourcing is just so you can do less work, but it's not. So you can do more work more easily and get 10 times as much stuff done. Okay, it's called the power of leverage. Okay, and this is key in any business. Well, this is a bit of theory here, but basically, as your knowledge grows, okay, in any subject, in business or something like that, you should spend, as your knowledge grows, and I'm saying knowledge is the key thing, experience is key too, but it's mainly just knowledge. So as your knowledge grows, you should spend your time doing the important stuff and less time doing the tedious bits. Okay, now that's pretty obvious, okay, because you don't need to do the tedious bits anymore. Your job, because you're the one with the knowledge, you're kind of like the valuable person in the relationship, if you think of it. It's the same in any company. If you look at it, the man on the ground isn't generally making many of the decisions. Okay, it's the guys sort of high above that have the knowledge and things like that to make decisions like that. I mean, in most cases anyway. Okay, so as your knowledge grows, you spend less time doing the tedious stuff. You spend less time actually carrying out the knowledge and more time just telling other people to do it, because it makes more sense. Okay, so that A, you can do less work, okay, which I've already explained, or B, as I've also already explained, you can get 10 times more done with the same amount of effort on your part. Okay, but there is a downside here, okay, and that is that you do have to pay for it. Now I know, there's no doubt that you've realised that. Hopefully, okay, people aren't going to be building the sites for free. You do have to pay for it. Okay, you're going to be getting 10 times as work done, but you're also going to be spending money. It's not all going to be free. But this is something you absolutely need to get used to. This is something I had to get used to at first, and I've got to be honest with you, it's an unusual concept when you've been making potentially a lot of money on your own as an affiliate marketer from home. When you've got things like cost to bear in mind, everything becomes more complicated. People can become more stingy or cheap, and things can go a little haywire. Okay, but it just can't be like that. This is just something you need to get used to. You are going to have to pay people. Don't be cheap. This is something you're going to have to get used to if you want to expand. Okay, it absolutely is. So don't worry about paying people, and don't worry. It's pretty darn cheap anyway. In fact, the return on each dollar you spend compared to how much it cost you to make the site is, it's downright phenomenal. In fact, okay, we're talking spending, less than $50 to build a site that's going to make you, over the course of a year, potentially, $3,000 to $6,000. Okay. And that's just over the course of 1 year. So the return is absolutely phenomenal. If you went to, an average business owner, and you said, for every dollar spent, I'm not even very good at maths, but I'm gonna make 100 times what I spent back. That's literally, if you spent $50 and you made back $5,000 over a year, you would have 100 times your investment. Okay, it's the best investment I've ever heard of. Okay, the return on each dollar you spend basically is absolutely phenomenal. So do not worry about it. Okay, and better yet, if I hadn't sold you on the idea of outsourcing and explained it well enough already, it's because you'll make even more money, because you can now spend this extra time educating yourself too. Okay, so just to explain that one, this basically means that while you're sort of delegating the work and getting all these other people to do the work for you, you can actually spend this time researching further search engine optimization techniques, watching the remaining Google Sniper videos perhaps, looking more at other ways you could make money. Google Sniper isn't the be all and end all. I mean, it's pretty darn good, but there's lots of other things you could look into expanding, and not just promoting clickbait products, but promoting things like CPA products, physical products, things like that. Okay, all these things that are essentially going to make you a lot more money in the long run. Okay, and you can do all these things once you've got other people doing the boring work and you're doing the important stuff, which is educating yourself on how to increase the profits in your business. Okay, and then obviously passing on that knowledge to your workers. Okay, so that's really important. The second thing is you can now tweak your existing sites to perfection, so you can spend more time analyzing each site. You can think like, time that you would have normally sort of dismissed and not done, yourself. You would have just moved on and built another site. You can now think, oh, hang on a minute, I'm position 4 on Google. I want to get to position 3. Let's really analyze this competitor. Let's look around. Let's think about what I could do. Let's think, oh, maybe I could rank for this keyword as well as an LSI keyword. Things like that. Okay, it's really, it's great. This outsourcing thing is really incredible, and I think really adds a lot to the Google Sniper program. Okay. So it's just in every way I've shown you, it's just an incredible way of doing things. Okay, so now what I've done for Google Sniper, obviously I've been doing quite a lot of this, and this is basically the process that I've refined it down to. Okay, now obviously this slide doesn't explain each step in too much detail, and obviously there's a lot to consider in each step. And I want to let you know that in each video from now on, in the next few videos in the outsourcing blueprint, I'm actually going to reveal exactly what you need to do for each step, okay, in a lot more detail than this. But essentially, all we're going to need to do is step 1 is we're going to post a job online and actively search for applicants. So there's a website we're going to use called Odesk, where I'll be posting a job. I'm also going to actively search for applicants, and I'm going to show you how to do that and some tricks I use in some other websites that you might not have seen, that it's not Elance or anything like that. Okay, these are different websites. I'm also going to search, explain to you the kind of workers you want to find, the kind of workers you don't, how you can pay a bit less for your workers and things like that. Okay, a lot of detail basically. Then we're going to talk about interviewing all the applicants and decide upon a winner. I'm going to be showing you exactly what to do here. This is a really important process. A lot of applicants, you'll get and will apply for the job, and they won't really know what they're doing. You're just creating more work for yourself if you hire some guy who doesn't know what he's doing. It's much better to hire someone that already knows what SEO is, or search engine optimization, than actually going and having to explain, well, this is how you rank in Google and stuff like that. So you don't want to create more work for yourself, and we'll talk about all that later on. Then the third part, once you've got your applicant, okay, it's basically you then meet with them on Skype and you explain the sniping process and begin work. Okay, now a really big thing here that I want to just bring up is you don't have to do all this stuff a million times. Once you've found one guy, you can use that person over and over and over again. Okay, but the third step is to explain the sniping process. Tell him what he needs to do, and then he begins the work. And the fourth part, the easiest part, is you check his progress. He tells you what he's done, and you check over it all, and you think this is good, this isn't good. Here's what you should change. A few emails back and forth, and you're done, basically. And that is the entire, sniper outsourcing process. And this is the exact process you're going to be able to repeat if you want to take this course and make, potentially, 4 or 5 figures a month online. Okay. Okay then. So, without further ado, I want you to go to the next video now, and we're going to start off with finding our sniper applicant. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.